Welcome to Action Hour. Today, I am honored to present the 6th Annual International Candlelight Vigil for Elephants who have died in captivity in 2023. Every January, the Vigil team lights candles in solidarity with organizations and individuals around the world to honor and remember the elephants who suffered and died due to the ravages of captivity during the preceding year. Thank you so much for being here, ladies. You are the organizers. I'm going to go to Marilyn. Marilyn, tell my audience, what is the purpose of this vigil for elephants that you do every single year?
Well, as most of us all know, the life of a captive elephant is full of hardships and trauma and chains and entertainment. So we focus on remembering the elephants who died in the prior year. So this year, 2023, as you said, Lindsey, and we give them some dignity, like at a human's memorial service. We want to recall their stories, and so we have written biographies to try to remember as much as we can about these elephants who have passed primarily in zoos around the world and in circuses also around the world. We don't have names of all of those elephants who die in festival environments or in the wild. They're very difficult to keep up with. So this is just our opportunity to light a candle, come together to recall the elephants who are deceased from the life of their hardships.
All right. I'm going to go to Kirsten. And Kirsten, tell us a little bit about how this organization works, who are the co-hosts, and all of that. Tell me a little bit about how it all works, if you would.
Thank you, Lindsey. We work with a team of advocates from Canada, Oregon, Florida, New Hampshire, Tennessee, and Los Angeles. We are the Vigil for Elephants Committee, and we work throughout the year to gather as much information as we can on these elephants who die in captivity during the year. We contact co-hosts and advocates around the world. We collect data, we maintain a database, and we write a biography on each deceased elephant. And we collect photos and videos to create a graphic for each elephant. And that's thanks to Sam Wincup, one of our team members from LEAP. And we'd also like to thank the 31 co-hosts this year of the Vigil. We have people all over the world holding Vigil, organizations and individuals holding Vigil with us today. And we also have a team of advocates who provide vital assistance to us in collecting information. We have people in China and Mexico and the Netherlands who are essential to this project. And the purpose of this vigil, beyond honoring those who died, is to shed light on the suffering and the trauma and the premature death caused by captivity, so that this cruel practice may come to an end.
Yeah, we see here some of the pictures of the elephants performing, and what it takes to get them perform is incredible cruelty. And this is the life that they have, and this is pre being rescued and going to sanctuary. Now, why don't you talk a little bit about how many elephants have died so far? I think we want to talk about that. Who would like to address that one?
I'll address that, Lindsey. This year, we're honoring 41 circus and zoo elephants that died in captivity. And we're also honoring 20 elephants that had the opportunity to be released to sanctuary from their prior life in entertainment or working camps or circuses or zoos. And of those, this year, 10 of the 41 elephants who died in zoos were baby elephants that died from elephant endotheliotrophic herpes virus, or EEHV. That's 24% of all of the elephants we're honoring this year were captive bred babies who died from elephant endotheliotrophic herpes virus. The problem is that we know this is a high probability for elephants bred in captivity. Just over half are expected to pass away from this horrible, painful disease. It's a hemorrhagic disease. It causes internal bleeding, and they either die from hemorrhage, internal hemorrhage, or other organ failure. It's a horrible thing. It's a predictable thing at this point. There is no reliable treatment or cure for these elephants. This is a disease that occurs in the wild, but it is not nearly in its most deadly form as it occurs in captivity. So this is something that zoos are aware of, and yet they just keep breeding year after year. And these poor mother elephants have to go through the process of losing their babies, often repeatedly. So this is one of the things that we also try to highlight to bring awareness to the fact that a lot of this captive breeding that goes on in zoos creates so much additional suffering and trauma, and it does little. These elephants, the majority of them, more than 50%, do not survive past age 8 or 9. Most die between their second and third year, but anywhere from 2 to 14 years is common in captivity.
And this happens over and over, and we wonder why the zoos would continue to allow that to happen. The babies are a commodity for them. Maybe the turnover is not that important to them. It doesn't appear to be. I mean, I wonder.
Babies sell tickets. You see it in their PR advertisement. They very excitedly advertise when a new baby is going to be born. And people, one of the reasons we've really tried to highlight this in the vigil is it gets lost in the noise, how frequently we go from a birth announcement to a death announcement for that same baby, and how the public isn't making that connection. And so we're hoping by bringing this to the attention of the public, more people will be aware that although zoos often like to talk about the fact that they're engaging in breeding for conservation, the reality is those elephants bred in captivity will not ever be released to the wild. They will not ever contribute to the conservation of the species, which is a wild population in its native land. And in fact, their breeding is not even keeping up with the loss in zoos. And that is the reality of what they're breeding for, is just to maintain a population of elephants held prisoner in facilities for entertainment.
And they sell it as conservation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here we have, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the Vigil for Elephants. This is the 6th annual Vigil for Elephants. It's a candlelight vigil that is held internationally. And this is how you can get in touch, but you can join in right now with our panel here. I wanted to ask if anyone else wanted to comment on captivity, and we're going to move on to Noor John soon. But is there anything you wanted to add, Kirsten or Marilyn, on that? Or no, Marilyn was just, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to add to the other captive illnesses.
Go ahead.
Other than the EEHV that Sandra just talked about. And elephants also, the leading causes for death, EEHV, in the young ones, and arthritis and foot diseases, which naturally grow over time because of their lack of space and their restricted exercise. They don't have the freedom to go and forage and be out on the grass. They are indoors. And then the hard substrates, the concrete that is in so many captive environments for elephants. And there have been some reports out in the past 3 or 4 years, University of Queensland and Born Free, that elephant deaths are caused by foot problems and arthritis related diseases. And we can also add to the list of diseases and health challenges skin issues, metabolic and infectious diseases. This all leads to shortened lifespans. And as far as from a psychological standpoint, I'm not a veterinarian or a psychologist, but research has shown that they do endure extreme stress. Elephants have been they're put on a very similar level to humans in that they have compassion and express their grief. So that will affect your mental state too. And that can lead to stereotypical problems with elephants and other animals that are confined in these small spaces. We've all seen and talked about rocking, back and forth, and some elephants, swaying and hitting their heads. So this is also negative on their mental and emotional state. So we don't see that. We don't see it in wild elephants. You don't see them rocking. So
Right.
those are other parts of the hazards of captivity for elephants.
Okay, great. We want to move on to Noor John. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Who wanted to tell that? Let's tell that story now, if we could.
Noor Jahan was a teenage African female elephant. And I say teenager because when she was 2, she was taken from her family, from her herd in Tanzania, and brought to the Karachi Zoo in Pakistan. And she lived there. I use the word lived loosely, but she survived there until she was 17. And this past year, she died under horrific circumstances. And we are focusing her story this year to our vigil, because of the terrible conditions, her health challenges. She had a hematoma in her abdomen, broken pelvis, intestinal issues, and the International Animal Welfare Group, Four Paws, was brought in finally after the officials determining if they should bring in professionals. They finally came in and helped her, did a lot of surgery. Even with the conditions surrounding her, they performed surgery and got her back going, and they felt good about her recuperation. But shortly thereafter, she took a fall in a pond that was in her enclosure. They don't know how it happened or what the circumstances were. And 10 days later, she passed away, and she was only 17 years old. And so there is one elephant left at the Pakistan Zoo, and there is a huge movement worldwide to get Madhubala moved out of that zoo.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We are going to have to move on for time reasons. I know that you wanted to talk, Kirsten, about the elephants sent to zoos, that sent the elephants from zoos to sanctuaries this year. So let's go ahead with that, if you would.
Thank you. We're really seeing a trend of
Good.
zoos acknowledging that they cannot meet the needs of elephants in their facilities and voluntarily sending them to the elephant sanctuary in Tennessee. In September of 2023, Donna was sent to sanctuary from the Oakland Zoo after the death of her longtime companion, Lisa. In March of 2023, Nicole was sent from the San Antonio Zoo. Unfortunately for Nicole, her release came too late. She was already suffering from chronic foot disease and septic arthritis caused by the conditions of her captivity, and she had to be euthanized in April of 2023. The Knoxville Zoo is in the process of transferring 3 African elephants to the elephant sanctuary. Jonna arrived in May of 2023, but like Nicole, her transfer came too late. She was suffering from captivity-related ailments and also from a leg injury that didn't heal properly. And in October of 2023, she had to be euthanized. Edie arrived from the Knoxville Zoo in November of 2023, and the Knoxville Zoo is in process of transferring Tonka, the male elephant, to the elephant sanctuary. And then there's the wonderful story of Artie. Artie is a bull elephant from the North Carolina Zoo. He arrived at the elephant sanctuary in Tennessee in January of 2023. He's the first male elephant to find his forever home at the elephant sanctuary in Tennessee. And he has a special story because he knew Nosy as an infant. And I think all of our listeners are aware of Nosy's story. She was confiscated in 2017 from a private owner who relentlessly forced her to travel and perform and give rides. And thanks to the tireless advocacy of humans around the world, and especially our team members at Save Nosy Now, Nosy was confiscated and is now living at the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, where she has had a remarkable transformation. Nosy is the poster child for the healing that can happen in sanctuary. And now Artie is there, and he was a jambalaya elephant. They were both jambalaya elephants. Nosy and Artie were part of a group of elephants. There were 62 infants who were stolen from their family and homeland in Zimbabwe in 1984 and brought to the United States, where they became part of the circus and zoo industry. And there are only 18 of these elephants still alive. And Nosy and Artie are 2 of these elephants, and they are reconnecting in sanctuary. And there is video up on the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, up on their website, of Artie and Nosy reconnecting. And it is just so heartwarming to see them forming this relationship. So this is hopeful news. We feel that zoos are starting maybe to have a shift, to see that sanctuary can provide a better life. And we're hoping other zoos will follow before it's too late for a lot of these elephants, like Billy and Tina here in Los Angeles, like Asha, like Lucy in Canada, who's in horrific circumstances, like Eli in Mexico City, like Amelie and Nawalzi. There are so many, too many to name, who need to be released to sanctuary where they will have the opportunity to heal.
What was the reason that the sanctuary, the zoo gave to about being willing now to do that quickly, if you could?
Yes, the Knoxville Zoo actually said that they, here I actually have a quote from them. The Knoxville Zoo said that they wanted their elephants to join a larger group of elephants to assure them companionship for the remainder of their lives. The Oakland Zoo, when Lisa died, they wanted Donna to have companionship. They're really starting to acknowledge that the elephants need companionship, and they need to be in these spaces where they can form these bonds, where they can live a more natural life. It's all the reasons that we always give, that elephants need to be in this more natural environment. It is still captivity. We understand that, but these elephants cannot go back to the wild. So the best we can do is give them a more natural life in sanctuary.
And on that note, we're going to have Sandra go into, I'm going to bring this up on the stage now. Let me get this full screen here. Okay, so Sandra, you want to talk a little bit, obviously Kirsten just said this is still captivity, but talk a little bit of how it differs, if you would.
It is a completely different world than the captivity they come from. And what we have now seen play out over and over and over again as elephants get released to sanctuary is how they come alive when they are given space, autonomy to make choices for themselves, respect, and companionship. I had the unbelievable honor and pleasure of getting to go to the Global Sanctuary for Elephants in Brazil this past October. And this is 2,800 acres. When I talk about space, this is what we're talking about, large amounts of acreage. This is 2,800 acres in Brazil. There are 6 elephant residents there currently. And each of these residents, the sanctuary has done a wonderful job of showing the transformation they go through. And it begins almost as soon as they arrive. Just being able to engage in normal behaviors that many of them have been denied most of their lives, decades, of self-care, of being able to dust when they want to dust, when the bugs are bothering them, or mud, have access to fresh water for bathing and mudding, have choice in what they eat. They can feed on natural browse. They have a diversity of habitat. They have large areas to walk through and decide where to go and what to do each day. It is just a night and day experience. And you see, it's like layers of self-protective armor they drop as they get to sanctuary and feel safe and feel respected and are able to engage in these normal behaviors. It's just the most wonderful thing to watch the expressions of pure joy these elephants exhibit. Something as simple as a rein, and they are trumpeting and squeaking and celebrating, and just, it is undeniable the difference it makes in these elephants' lives. And the friendships they form, the close bonds with each other, and how much affection they show each other, and they celebrate. If one elephant is just out of their sight for a short period of time and comes back into view, they throw a little party just to see their friend again, even though they were just behind a bush or a little bit away. They relish life. And it's something you don't see in them when you see these same animals, what they were like in the zoo. You don't see the lightness about them. You don't see the exuberance about them, the love of life. It's just an amazing thing to behold. And we know now how damaging zoos are, circuses are for elephants. There is no excuse for us to continue to do this, especially when we have these living examples of what's possible in sanctuary.
Thank you so much for that information. And that website is amazing. We'll put that up again. I just want to, now we're going to move into the second part. This is very important. And we will have some updates at the end on Lucy and Billy right before we end. Just remind me. I don't think you'll have to, but so I'm going to ask everyone now to safely, if you're prepared to join us, to safely light a candle. I'm going to go ahead and get mine out, and then we'll start. Marilyn is going to be reading a poem by Julie Dickinson called Too Late. Let me concentrate here for a moment so it's not too late for me.
Too Late, by our friend Julie A. Dixon. Concrete was all I'd known for years under my feet, since stolen. Heartbroken calf wrenched from my herd, dead mother maimed, left. I heard their cries, my own among them, sisters, cousins, chained on ship or plane. We knew not where, but wished only for our mothers long gone. Starved and thirsty, I did tricks to survive, but this existence barely alive, memories of home, all but lost, damp hay and cage, standing on sore feet all day. Years crept by. I swayed, longed for my sisters, saw only humans through iron bars. I wept unheard. I knew not how long they kept me in prison, ankles raw, ears torn. One day, a new cage arrived, soft hay and hands guiding me inside, eventually a long ride. To where? Emerged into grass, to lovely trees. I dusted, swam in mud ponds. I felt myself failing, damage done. Humans thought me old, but feet cracked. Sold more once. Dead calves long buried. I browsed trees for the last time, too late to be saved.
I think we're going to read the names of the elephants who passed in captivity in 2023. If everyone could please light a candle and join us in remembrance of these elephants. Delhi, Kimba Elephant Park in Hungary. Luke, Two Tails, Ringling Brothers in Florida, USA. Smokey, Two Tails, Ringling Brothers in Florida, USA. Unnamed Baby, Zurich Zoo, Zurich, Switzerland. Damar, Elephant Conservation Unit of China Bamboo Nature Park. Jewel, Los Angeles Zoo, California, USA. Yaki, Jinan Zoo, China. Lisa, Oakland Zoo, California, USA. Bubba, Kimba Elephant Park in Hungary. Noor Jahan, Zoo Pakistan, in Pakistan. Mary, San Diego Zoo, California, USA. Ajabu, Dallas Zoo, Texas, USA. Malika, Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, Colorado, USA.
Fitz, Louisville Zoo, Kentucky, USA. Willie, Cleveland Metro Park, Cleveland, Ohio, USA. Zoo Plunkendeel was the elephant Yu Yen. Lou was Mayaka Elephant Ranch in Florida, USA. Manjai was Melbourne Zoo, Australia. Irma and is Diergaard Bleerdorp, Netherlands. Twiggy, Belgrade Zoo, Serbia. Ronnie, St. Louis Zoo, USA. Donna, St. Louis Zoo, USA. Aralia, Beijing Zoo, China. Shenzhen, Beideling Safari Park in Beijing, China. Lele, Longchu Zoo in Shandong, China. Elaine, Changde Wildlife World, Hunan, China.
Mei Thong Rue, Chok Chai Elephant Park, Thailand. Tusker, Basel Zoo, Germany. Seyoon, Perry Dyza Park, Belgium. Kacha, Circus Myra Orfei, Italy. Davy, Leon Zoo, Mexico. Madhu, Givskud Zoo, Denmark. Sandrine, Givskud Zoo, Denmark. Radza Jr., Wildlands Adventure Zoo, Netherlands. Amelie, Prague Zoo, Czech Republic. Hassan, Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Center for Elephant Conservation, USA.
Santosh, Hagenbeck Deer Park, Germany. Molly, Manila Zoo, Philippines. Fanny, Chaolong Safari Park in Guangdong. Zhengzhou Zoo, Bab Fanny was at the Chaolong Safari Park in Guangdong. Babu was in Zhangzhou and Hunan. Jack was in Dampierre, La Pal Zoo in France.
The next group are elephants who died after living captive or horrific lives and were sent to sanctuary. So they went to sanctuary with prior health conditions. PIN, Wildlife Friends Foundation, Thailand. Sukchai, Elephant Nature Park, Thailand. Moti, Wildlife SOS. Noi No, Elephant Nature Park. Nicole, the Elephant Sanctuary, Tennessee, USA. Delaird, Phuket Elephant Sanctuary, Thailand. Sri Nua, Samui Elephant Haven, Thailand. Mae Sri Elephant Nature Park, Thailand. Siam Elephant Nature Park, Thailand. Luna, Sumai Elephant Haven, Thailand. Nina, Wildlife SOS. Dudao, Elephant Nature Park, Thailand. Mr. Moo, Boonlots, or BLEES. Jana, the Elephant Sanctuary, Tennessee, USA. King Canoon, Boonlots. Daisy, Wildlife SOS. Sambo, Elephant Valley Project, Cambodia. Farung Elephant Nature Park, Thailand. Sita in Nepal. Banyan Elephant Nature Park, Thailand.
Is that finished? Are we finished reading? Okay, so now we are going to have 1 minute starting now of silence, and I'll direct you when it's over. Okay, I'm going to play a video in honor of those that have passed. Well, that was very touching. Oh, all right. Well, I think we want to wrap up with a couple of important things here. How to contact you all. Um, and it's vigilforelephants@gmail. I believe it's on this right here. Your contact information right here on the screen. I'll leave that up for a moment. You guys are happy to email the package. You have this very detailed PDF with each of the elephants and an explanation of their life and how they passed. And they can get in touch with you and join the organization and join in for next year. And sadly, we already have, oh, okay. So you said you already have 2 deaths. So I'm going to give you guys a little time to wrap up, but I'll give you a moment to wrap up on that. But let's just get an update before we go on Lucy and Billy. So let's start. I'll start with Kirsten on Billy, and then whoever wants to jump in from there.
Thank you, Lindsey. So I think most of the listeners know that Billy is a male Asian elephant who's been held in the Los Angeles Zoo since 1989. There have been efforts in this city to secure his release to sanctuary for years and years. We have a pending motion in front of the Los Angeles City Council. This is the 3rd motion that's been introduced. This current motion was introduced in the fall of 2022 by retired Councilmember Koretz and was seconded by Councilmember Blumenfield. It passed a committee vote in November of 2022, and we're waiting for it to be on the agenda for a full council vote. It is imperative that Billy is released. His physical and psychological health are deteriorating. He's engaging in stereotypy constantly. Marilyn talked about that a little bit, the bobbing and the rocking, which is demonstrating his complete psychological breakdown. And in light of the fact that Jewel was euthanized at the LA Zoo in January of 2023, and Shanzi was just euthanized on January 3rd, 2024, we are calling for both Tina, the last female elephant in the Los Angeles Zoo, and Billy to be released to sanctuary before it's too late.
All right.
Well,
And so go ahead.
and I was just, if Kirsten is finished, I was just going to give a brief update on Lucy in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, who has been there since 1977. And like Billy, and now like Tina, the other elephant separated from her companion, Lucy is still in Edmonton, all alone. Right now, they are having record cold temperatures, colder than what any place in the United States, I think, is having. There have been a lot of ups and downs with Lucy, but the support from LEAP and local supporters will never wane. She is still living in the same structure, same barn enclosure that she has had for all of these over 45 years. And there have been promises about building a pool, enlarging her enclosure, and nothing has happened. There have been professionals who have evaluated Lucy in the past year and a half, and some have deemed her that she is safe to travel to a U.S. sanctuary. But that still has not happened, and Lucy continues to languish. There is a sand pile in her enclosure, and she also has had respiratory issues for a while. And there is silica in this sand pile, so that could be causing her respiratory issues. So, LEAP is still heavily involved with trying to persuade city officials, zoo officials to give her the last opportunity for living freely in the prime of her life, which really should be now.
All right. Thank you for that. Now, anyone else? Is there anything we left out that we need to wrap up with here? Because we only have a few moments.
I like to mention that on page 3, I believe it is, in the Vigil booklet, we do have a list of co-hosts. And these are people who have said, yes, we want to share about the Vigil. So we want to just give them a nod and to also encourage people who are listening in. And if listeners would tell friends and family to reach out to one or more of these organizations and offer yourself to help or to send in a small contribution, whether it's one of the sanctuaries, whether it's to help Billy, whether it's to help Lucy, whether, there are numerous organizations and Gentle Giants. So I do want to give a nod to co-hosts and other good advocacy groups around the world.
All right. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Lindsey, I just also wanted to let people know that another thing we're doing is, since we're able to be out again, we're holding in-person vigils. That's another thing that people can do. We had an in-person vigil at the Los Angeles Zoo last weekend. And we also want to give a shout out to our friends in Mexico City. It's an incredible group called Abriendo Wallace y Abriendo Mentes. They are holding an in-person vigil tonight in the courtyard of the Palacio de Bellas Artes in Mexico City. And the focus of their group is to secure the release of Eli, held in the Aragon Zoo in Mexico City. And they've filed a lawsuit on his behalf that has reached their Supreme Court. And they have been tireless supporters of the Vigil for Elephants. They're incredible advocates, and we just want them to know that they have our full support.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We really need to wrap up. We're going over time now. So very quickly, last word.
Lastly, Sam Wimcup, Barbara Lovett, Courtney Scott, Wendy Marcus, Minovitz, Marianne Home, they all are behind the scenes and work hard on the Vigil for Elephants with the team.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone who's watching. If you want to get in touch with them, here again is the social media accounts, the email account. Please contact these amazing ladies for all the wonderful work they're doing each year. And be sure to join us next time. Thank you for watching Action Hour on Unchained TV, our only vegan streaming network. Please download it at watch.unchainedtv.com. Bye-bye for now. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for being on.